climate change and urbanization presents urgent challenge to sustainable development and social justice. So I have bring the concept of social justice in the water related issue discourse, right? So water justice has become integral to sustainable, environmental and ecological justice discussion intersecting with human rights. So without human rights, we can't talk about the water or water related issues. So I have bring this concept also, that is the human rights and how it is intersecting with the different components of ecological and environmental challenges. So this paper critically examines international and national policy frameworks, including the Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris Agreement, and the India's national water policy, highlighting persistent gaps that undermine effective implementation, fragmented oversight, limited intersectoral coordination, and adequate adaptation to India's unique socio-environmental context. Restrict policy impact means I have highlighted the gaps in terms of lofty goals by these policies and the gap persisting between the implementation. Means that where we are standing at the implementation level considering the socio-economic context, especially India's socio-economic context. I am also bringing the structural issue which is related with caste, creed, gender, region, because at the execution level these factors are not being considered adequately at the policy level. So the objective of this paper, the next part is, the objective of this paper is to examine the gap between goal oriented policy framework, that is achievable goals or egalitarian goals, and pragmatic actions or stipulated results, in bracket structural issues slash practical issues based on concrete reality, and to suggest measures to reduce the gap between goals and action dichotomy in addressing the most basic need of humanity, which is right to clean water and right to clean environment amidst environmental and ecological crisis. So in this paper, after air, I have considered water is the most basic element of the life, and without that element or adequate supply of fresh water, we can't even stipulate about right to life, which is the fundamental right in Constitution of India, and that has been granted by the several judgments of the Supreme Court of India and the honorable high courts. So in the next component of my presentation is the methodology. Certainly I can say that this is the limitation of this paper, that it is not the this is not the paper which is based on ethnography or empirical evidence. Rather, the full paper has adopted a multidisciplinary approach and doctrinal method of analysis of different concepts and theories, including concepts and theories propounded by higher judiciary dealing with the water crisis and policy framework. So in the conclusion of this paper, I have argued that this paper argues for a recalibrated policy approach that is adaptive, region specific, grounded in the realities of water stressed community across India. By shedding light on these policy gaps, the study underscores the need for a cohesive, integrated framework, aligns the international aspiration with localized demands of India's water environmental sustainability object. So I have just presented my point of view based on my abstract. Now I will give some insight based on the full paper. I will not take too much time, but I will try to conclude in the time framework. So I will directly jump to the main discussion of this paper, that is international and national policies operating in structural power relations. So I have tried to bring that issue or that gap which is not generally discussed in the we can say in technical discourses, or we can say academic discourses, which is related with the structure of our society, a structure of power relations. And I have argued that when we are considering the international policy framework, whenever we are considering about national water policies, the social reality has not been considered adequately. What I mean by the social realities, of course, I am saying that the power relation existing in the society has not been considered adequately in the policy framework, whether that is region, whether that is caste, whether that is class, whether that is gender, whether that is any other variable. So, without addressing these kind of things, without addressing that gap, we can't imagine, we can't make a policy that will fully be implemented at the ground level. Second thing which I have examined in this paper is that the dichotomy between international initiative, national initiative, and the local level based initiative. We are talking about COPs, we are talking about the Stockholm conferences. I have analyzed these things in the full paper, but I have no time to discuss all the gaps here. But I will try to say that we are still adopting top down approach, which is not going to address environment related issue, whether specifically it is water crisis. We are knowing that water crisis is